Hello one and all, welcome back to Exhibitionist Speed. Now, you notice it's just me here. That's because Gavin decided to take a family vacation. And you'll notice that he filmed that AMC Eagle that you saw the review of on Monday. Pretty sweet little car. Well, I decided to one-up him. Yes, it's an S550 Mustang, but give me just a minute and we'll get back to that. Let's go over some basics of this car first. So, started in 2015. This has the 5-liter Coyote. This is a Mustang GT. Seems fairly normal. 435 horsepower, 6-speed manual, rear-wheel drive, first generation of Mustang to go worldwide, independent rear suspension, you know, all the stuff you've heard before. Everybody's done a review on this car when it came out because, in my opinion, and Gavin's as well, it's one of the best looking Mustangs ever made as far as generationally. So, why would I be having this car on display, being that it's several years old and even a generation out now? Just wait a minute, we'll get to that. So this car's finished in beautiful Kona blue. As you can see it reflecting here in the fantastic dully lit sky. It's got the factory 18-inch wheels on it. It is aptly named Thunder by its owner. It has the Ford factory racing exhaust. It also has pretty much every factory option, the air-conditioned seats, the good shaker sound system, all the good jazz. Again, nothing that you would think you'd need to tilt the head at. But let's pop the hood and I'll show you a little bit of why this thing is so special. So we've just taken a walk around this car. You notice it looks exactly like a bone stock Mustang GT from 2015. But as we look underneath the hood, we see that there is something called a supercharger right there. This is what's called a Roush Stage 3 kit, which adds a 2.3-liter supercharger to your already fast 435 horsepower Mustang, which bumps it up to 670 horsepower and 545 pound-feet of torque. And on top of that, keep in mind, hold your breath, you retain your factory warranty. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a Ford certified mechanic or Ford themselves at a dealership install this system, which you can buy from factory, you retain all of your warranty on your Mustang. And you have a car that can now match a Hellcat of the same year for acceleration, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, and quarter-mile time. Take a listen to this thing. So as you just heard, this thing sounds absolutely mental. It is quite literally a ballistic missile of a car. And keep in mind that exhaust is factory as well. It literally can come from the Ford dealer before you even left at the time in 2015. So, we got to talk about the rest of the points real quick, and then we'll get to just the outright speed. Ford did a lot to improve this generation of Mustang as they knew they were trying to give it a worldwide presence. This is also the first Mustang to be made in right-hand drive, keep in mind. So, steering is very responsive, goes exactly where you want it to, and can even be adjusted to suit how stiff you would like it. The brakes are also extremely responsive and have a great bite and really no fade as far as we've experienced in this time that we've had the car. Gear shifts are very crisp and go exactly where you want them to. You know, some people prefer a little more clunky, but we'll leave that up to you short shifter people. Clutch is good from factory. All the points that you would normally interact with are adequate or above. In fact, most of them I would say are good or above. On to the power, which is obviously very good. Very, very good. Oh my goodness. This is something you honestly should have a separate license to drive. Think about it. Hellcat of this year, 707 horsepower, but is also a much heavier car. Now, although they do match statistic-wise with 0 to 60 and 0 to 100, because this car has much less torque, the biggest thing you're going to run into is this chassis is a lot lighter. There is a lot more flighty, and it is able to send you around corners in a little bit different way than a Hellcat would. And if you have the throttle in the wrong place, it can do traditional Mustang things and decide to send it, as it were, into the bush, or the person, or the crowd. But that's where you as a driver just have to have that separate license, right? And I seriously mean that. This car is to the point on the road where, again, you'll be braking every single speed limit at a quarter throttle. Literally, I mean, possibly even under 10 seconds, you can hit 60 in second gear if you keep your foot pinned into it. None of this is very difficult. But the good news is this. You get this factory kit. You can get a 2015 S550 Mustang with the, a Mustang GT with the 5-liter Coyote for around $19,000 to $21,000 in pretty decent condition. This kit is $9,000 installed. This exhaust is about $2,000 installed. At that price point, you're still under $32,000 after taxes. A comparable, if you just want out-and-out speed, Hellcat of the same year, still going 44 and up, folks. You're not going to get almost anything close to this unless you build it in your own garage. That it's going to come to that price point and to give this levels of performance. It's absolutely bonkers. Now, there are some bad things. There is still some hard plastics. It is Ford after all, but they're very well hidden. Most of the interior is very well appointed. And like I mentioned before, this specific one has all the good options of that era, which if you're going to build a car like this when it's a 2015 and already several years out of date, might as well go for one that has all the best options, folks, because you're not going to spend that much more. It is very quiet and refined. This exhaust has almost no drone of any kind, and so you can still use this on the daily and not be driven mad by crazy noises. If you keep it underneath 2,000 RPM, it doesn't really even start to kind of wail or anything. And the supercharger, completely incognito. Can't even hear it. It's awesome. So, folks, if you're looking for something like this, something to just, let your inner demon out, get this. Because not all of us are rich enough to afford something that's a $60,000 to $80,000 drag car. Half price, almost the exact same performance. Think about it, people.
Something also, hello internet, hello world.
This is a Gavin.
I'm actually not in Michigan right now. Huh, weird.
I know.
Travel. What I wanted to also mention was that you were talking about like less than 30 grand out the door, tax and title and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Can you get what can you get a Golf R for? You can't touch STI for that. You're in WRX territory.
Yep.
Civic Type R is still more expensive. There are Focus STs that you probably could have bought new at that price point.
And you could probably find some used bargains as well, but the used market is an entirely different story.
$32,000 in 911 money is still 996 Carrera 4S, or you can't get 996 Turbo anymore for that.
Nope.
Like a high mile C4S or 32 grand in Boxster money is like 2014. Better interior, mid-engine, but this is walking it. This is leaving it in the dust with miles to spare. And
even think about this. We released a video that I had relinquished my Stinger. At that point, with that many miles, it was effectively worth 35 grand. So it's still north of this.
Crazy.
Really, for something that has this levels of absurdity, you're not going to find it unless you build it out of your garage, which not everybody can do that.
Yeah, and anyone can take a Miata and shoehorn an LS or a 5.0 or a 2J or any. Take your pick. Someone just put a Hellcat motor in it.
You could throw any motor into any car.
You can do anything out of the garage, and that's not what we, at least, are about, necessarily. We actually want to see how good cars are OEM or close to OEM or things that are at least interesting out of the box. Yeah, there's plenty of people that build these things, but not everybody has that skill set, and a lot of people just want to buy something turnkey. I'm not a wrench. I am a wrench. You're a wrench. I'm not a wrench. I would just love to buy something. I can't own that. I can't have that. My license would be not suspended. They would just take a shredder and be like, you don't need this anymore. It would be gone. There wouldn't be any coming back. Eviscerated, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, regardless, seriously, people, look into something like this, because this is one of those things you could call a bargain of the century, which is not one item. There's a bunch of cars like this that you could do, and this is one of them. This is a hell of a bargain. Because I think, to give you an idea, like I said, you could make this kit yourself for about $30. The owner of this paid only $26 for this. Not bad. That's really not bad. It's not bad
at all.
26 is like Mark 7 GTI with the DSG, maybe?
Yeah, which as
no options.
As good as the GTI is, sorry, this is a little bit
different league.
different league. So, anyways, thank you all for watching and tuning in. Subscribe, like down below, do all that normal stuff. You'll get to see this idiot right here.
Oh yeah, I have another video.
Yeah, on Friday. So I mean, very soon here.
Something with also a lot of power, actually. So you haven't quite won up to me by as much as you think you have.
Yeah, I mean by power, but I mean you're close.
I'm close.
You're close. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Yep.